how many banks cater to this particular demographic group? And why can't we have one of our own where we built it with the challenges in place that we experience? So we went around and started asking people, if you could have a bank centered to your specific needs, what would that bank look like?
Are we loosely using the term bank here? Question mark. Is Waya a bank or a money transfer platform? And probably talk more about why you decided to go the route of how the company is structured.
Yeah, so thanks so much. Great question again. We are a banking app, and I think we've alluded to our banking partners. So in aspects of just disclosures from a compliance perspective, we are a financial technology company offering banking services that are licensed by our banking partners, Lineage Bank, through, of course, other affiliations with companies like MasterCard, and many others that are working behind the scenes to help us put this together. Like David mentioned, we are a financial technology company legally constituted here, and our banking partners actually allow us to use the word bank because technically we are a bank, right? A digital bank for the African diaspora. So that's it. I think David can answer the other part of the question.
Yeah. So this is on the remittance part of the question, I believe. Was the question? To clarify, it was on the remittance part of the
Yeah, so it was pretty much on why we decided to go the banking route and not the
Gotcha.
And
Yes.
you take
remittance.
deposits, and also I think the question is talk more about why you decide to structure it, not just as a remittances company, but you put the bank part into it.
Gotcha.
As a bank, because there are quite a number of questions, coming here, and I think that's why it's good we have you in studio.
Because me, I'm floating.
Yeah.
This is Japanese and Chinese, but it's all good. It's all good.
We got you.
So let me start it anecdotally, into why we got in this space. We have all, at one time or another, for the vast majority of us, sent money back home, either to Kenya or to wherever it is that we're from. And we asked ourselves, why are people sending that money? Is it so that it can go sit in someone's M-Pesa account? What are the reasons why they're sending that money? And once you start speaking to immigrants, you find out why they're sending the money. You also find out the challenges they have had sending the money. We've all had fake houses built where you're being sent pictures.
Oh, those have happened.
We have opened.
Those are very popular.
Those
You're opening wounds here.
Yeah. So as a family, for myself, collectively, we lost about $100,000 in a transaction that over a period of years where
Ouch, that's a lot of money.
That was very expensive in an investment that we were making, and you come to find out that where it was being sent was just really non-existent, and it was a very painful moment for us. And once I got into this and realized we were not the only ones who were experiencing these challenges. So as Hempston mentioned, we got into this to solve problems that we ourselves experienced. I was buying property in Kenya and sending money, and it would take months to arrive. Sometimes it wouldn't arrive. And so there were this not only challenges from integrity in terms of trust, but then there were challenges within the rails themselves.
Yeah.
So once we started in 2019, we essentially started as purely a remittance company. We wanted to solve this particular problem. But then the more we researched it, we realized that the average immigrant, even though we send money a lot with SendWave or with WorldRemit and with others, maybe 1, twice, maybe 3 times a month for the vast majority of people. Mm-hmm. And then 2, the immigrant, even though it's a lot, 50 billion to Africa each year, 5 billion to Kenya each year, $630 billion globally in remittance. It's only about 5 to 10% of the total income for the immigrant living in the U.S. So if someone in the U.S. is making $100, for example, they're sending about 5 to 10 of those dollars back home. Okay. So the natural question became, what happens to the remaining 90 to 95% that remains here? How is that being utilized? Are they facing the same challenges that they are facing when it comes to remittances? And with the anecdote that I gave earlier for immigrants and everything else, we found out that the vast majority of people were still undergoing significant problems when it came to banking. And we thought to ourselves, how many banks cater to this particular demographic group? And why can't we have one of our own where we built it with the challenges in place that we experience. So we went around and started asking people, if you could have a bank centered to your specific needs, what would that bank look like?
Okay.
And that's how WAYAPAY came to be. And we mentioned remittance. Remittance is just one of the things that we built this digital bank to do, because it was an important element. But there are other things that are coming, whether it's savings, loans, credits, access to mortgages. So these are things that are coming down the line that we wanted to solve for our specific immigrant community. And the more we spoke about this, whether they're individuals or whether they're SMEs, small and medium-term businesses that are owned by African immigrants in the US, you came to find out that the vast majority of them were experiencing these challenges. I won't mention any names, but we're not too far away from Swahili Village. When I was having this conversation with the owner of Swahili Village, he was telling me, you know what, this is what we need, because even though I have a bank that I go to, it is not letting me, fully tap the suite of services that I would want. And it's largely because they don't understand my product offering, and they don't treat me the same way as they treat other Americans, quote unquote, and so these are some of the challenges that we ourselves are experiencing. And that's how the bank came about.
So what I'm hearing from you is that this same bank, beyond just the regular deposits and withdrawal services, it will also be offering loans, investment opportunities, and all the other things that the traditional banks we know that do, but now catered specifically for Africans.
Let me put it, when we say access to financial services or financial access and financial inclusion, let me just go back to the immigrant story, particularly for a student.
Yeah.
When you come in as a student here, like a vast majority of us have, you don't know left from right. One of the things that you don't particularly know is how to build your credit in the US. I wish 10, 15 years ago, someone had told me, David, why don't you open this Capital One secured credit card? These are the type of services that we want to be able to offer. So when an immigrant lands here, they're like, hey, look, here's a checking account that you can open without an SSN. On top of that, once you give us $400, we'll open a line of secured credit for you in a credit card and help you build
your credit.
And start working with them to aspects so that when it comes to the time when they're graduating and they need other large terms of loans, we say, we're there with you. So we walk with you from the very beginning all the way to the maturity in different aspects of your life, not only for students, but for other aspects.